What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. Huge news came out yesterday that went relatively unnoticed by the community and even some of the biggest news sources, confirmed by distributors, is Duel Overload, our March reprint set. Whenever we see that this is coming, you want to be ahead on the curve of getting rid of some of your cards, because once the announcement hits, that's a guaranteed loss in value. And what's really big here is that we have the announcement without any cards confirmed yet. So yesterday we had Mystic Fighters and the rarity reveals. We had the Bujin Link, which is generic XC support, coming out. I get why people miss this, but there's a lot of misinformation going around this too. You want to be able to read and use your comprehension skills here, right? People are comparing it to Duel Devastator because it's all ultra rares and has Duel in the name, but it's really more like Duel Power. Again, this is our March reprint set. There's RNG involved whenever you're talking about booster packs. So this has 6 booster packs with 5 cards per packs. It's all ultra rare. I get how you could confuse it, right? Duel in the name, all ultras. Yeah, we could get it again. No. This is going to be your $30 MSRP, most likely 100 card set that's going to have a ton of reprints as well as new cards. So if Konami's sticking to the formula, we're going to get Reigns pack imports and other exciting OCG imports alongside some of the best reprints. So I'm going to talk about 10 cards that need to be reprinted this year, as well as what I think you should hedge your bets with. Now, this is speculation, but when we're talking about this, we know Konami's formula, so it's likely they're gonna bring in one big boy, give a couple of reprints from the last reprint sets, and then they're going to look around and take pieces. But they also have to sell Battles of Legend and the Megatons. There's 3 reprint sets, so this one's not gonna have it all. They definitely have to stave off certain sets. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the biggest one, Phantasme. Now, I think personally, between Phantasme and Pot of Extravagance being the other one, they can only put one in here. They've got to sell Battles of Legend later in the year. So if they put both in, huge kudos to Konami. But these are the 2 big sellers of sets for reprints later in the year, and I think it's going to be Phantasme personally, because in years past we had Impermanence when we're looking for this set, and then Boral Sword ended up in the Battles of Legend. You've got to split it apart. You've got to take different steps if you're Konami to sell these sets. Now, Phantasme, the reason I think it's going to be in here is that it's the higher price card. You have the $30 MSRP versus the individual packs of Battles of Legend. I think Konami will want to use this personally to sell the tints. Now, keep in mind the top card is usually grossly shorted at around 2 per case. Look back to Ash Blossom before, we look at Impermanence. So if you're thinking that this will bring a coolant to the market, you're still very correct, because Impermanence went down to 30. That's still 4 per, like, average cost of a core booster set, and tons of other reprints for estimated values on pulls, especially on pre-sales. So I think there will be a coolant, but I don't think they'll be $50 like Imperm is now. I think they'll be $30 like Imperm was towards the release of Duel Power. Now, Pot of Extravagance, I really do hope it gets a reprint, but I'm seeing this more towards as a Battles of Legend or Megaton seller rather than this set. And while it's generically good, it has its high price, I think it's going to go towards one of those 2 sets. Now, what I do think will fall in here is Borreload Savage Dragon. Although, if they want to keep the Boral selling Battles of Legend, it wouldn't end up here. I think that 2 of these 3 from Savage Strike will come together, though, as they took this out from selling the Megatons, as Savage Strike didn't have a lot to offer. When we look through the set, these 3 are pretty much the only things of value left, and then we get under the $10 range and quickly into 5. So there's not a lot of needed reprints from Savage Strike, despite it being missed in the 10s. So it was kind of a good move of Konami. Although we really wanted these cards, there were only a few cards, so shoving a ton of them in there wouldn't have been the best. And we see that we're under a couple more formats of Sky Strikers being relevant. Those prices would have really gone up from Battles of Legends. So Konami, maybe with a bit of foresight on seeing that we would only want a few cards out of here, but man, do we desperately need them. Moving forward, I think Infinite Impermanence will get reprinted in here. I think the announcement will help sell pre-sales of the set, and then we'll see Impermanence chucked in something else just like Ash Blossom. Remember that we had Ash Blossom sell Kaiba Collection, then we had had it sell dual power, yet in the meantime, Konami started to shove it in other sets to sell. I think that we'll see Impermanence do almost exactly the same thing. It'll be announced for this set, and then we'll see it actually sold in other places. That's just my speculation on it. Let me know what you guys think about it. We definitely see in the past with cards like Card of Demise, Ash Blossom, that they love to reprint things within the March set. It was so good, let's do it again. But Impermanence is truly one of those cards, and with only 2 printings, I think it will be welcome, and I think with them shorting other things that it will not get shorted this time, similar to how Ash Blossom was. It'll just be used to sell pre-sales while they shove it in other products. Cyber Emergency is what I'm really hoping for. I think that Konami is finally reprinting Battles of Legend cards that were originally printed in Battles of Legend somewhere outside, as we see that Living Fossil is in the OCG Shadol structure deck, and that should translate to the TCG. So if this holds true, we'll see Cyber Emergency float on out, perhaps, into a reprint set. We got Naster last year, we have a ton of Cyber Dragon support, and I think Konami would be very wise to have their eyes on this, as it's been out for a couple years now, and it would be really awesome to see a reprint in the March set of this. Next up, we have Ancient Gear Fusion. Now, we don't have any reprints of the legendary Duelist, but the perfect place to start is behind a locked $30 MSRP for Konami. When we're looking at these cards, I think they should be touching the oldest ones, unfortunately, rather than the newest. Shops still have to sell that legendary Duelist with Malicious Bane and the Dusted Gold, so I don't think they'll be touching their newer sets that I would really like to see get reprinted, but it's about time we started looking at the oldest ones. It's about time we started getting reprints on stuff like Ancient Gear Fusion, especially with the Link coming out. So if we're talking Brains imports, we definitely could see this in here along with the Ancient Gear Link. We also have Millennium Eyes Restrict, a meta card used along with Instant Fusion that would be very welcome by the community in here. When we look at Ancient Millennium, there's value past just these 2 cards, and if these are the 2 cards imported, the other cards will go up as replacement value happens for the set being so expensive, and these 2 would be arms open welcome by the community, I think. Let me know if you would be against this for some reason. Do you want to keep Legendary Duelist cards locked in Legendary Duelist, period, for all time? I'm a fan of a set having a reason to have value, but at this point, it's getting very ridiculous. Chaos Dragon Legionnaire was purposely left out of this year's Megatins. Chaos Dragon Legionnaire needs a freaking reprint. It shouldn't be $90 for a playset of these when you've touched so many cards from Soul Fusion as it is. Like, this needs to be somewhere. Konami definitely had a plan for it as they pay attention to the metagame. They talk about the metagame when doing reprints for OTS packs, yet this is just sorely lacking. So I think we'll see Ultra Rare Chaos Dragon Legionnaire within this March reprint set. And my final card here, wait John, you've only talked about 9 with this card, is going to open up a discussion for you guys. I don't think Signet Mining will be in here. I think this is a Battles of Legend selling card closer to the at Ignisters. I think that we have a ton of Cyberse archetypes past what maybe Konami expected or right where they expected, but Dark Neostorm, it's a little soon to start reprinting them even in March. I think we'll look forward to Battles of Legend. I think we'll look forward to Megatins, and I think cards like this are a little safer. Now, yes, they reprinted Nullmun very, very fast, but that was for a themed set. I think that we're going to get Savage Strike reprints in our March set and move the other reprints to Battles of Legend, but I'd really like Konami to hopefully put Battles of Legend before the WCQ this year, after seeing maybe the impact in sales of it being after. Please give us reprints for our competitive season and not after. How crazy would it have been to have the BLS link also in this WCQ season? Like, there's a lot missing. So this opens up the conversation to you guys. What cards would you like to see reprinted here in our reprint set Duel Overflow? What do you think I maybe missed from pre-Dark Neostorm, and do you think that cards from ahead will end up in here? Personally, I'm looking at how Konami has shaped these sets time and time again, and hedging my bets with that. I personally, if I was looking at Extravagance, might feel I'm a little safer than with Phantasme, but any announcement is going to crash the prices of these to a certain extent, and you don't want to be caught holding the hot potato trying to unload it. Yes, there will be events from the announcement until it happens, and there can be some wonky prices in there, but you definitely don't want to be caught with the cards when the announcement happens. You want to be ahead of the curve. Thank you guys so much for watching. What do you guys think of Duel Overload? It's kind of typical of us to get a Martial reprint set like this, but what cards do you guys see coming? I really want to hear. Like the video if you enjoyed the discussion and spreading the awareness of the set, and then it's not like, you know, it's more of a dual power than a dual devastator. And let me, seriously, I want to hear every single thought of what could be in here, what I missed, what's from back in the past that should be pushed forward that's not currently being sold by OTS stores right now. Thanks for watching, everybody.